What's going on, Patriots fans? Welcome to Patriots Today by Chat Sports. I am your host, Allie Barefoot. We went live less than 24 hours ago because Stefon Diggs became a Patriot, and more importantly, our new wide receiver one. But we also do go live every single Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. There's a lot going on with the Patriots in free agency, and as we are about a month away from the NFL draft. Actually, I think we're less than a month away. It's April 24th, I think, is when it kicks off. So I'm just going to go on ahead and talk about the news that happened last night. Grade the signing of Stefon Diggs. A, B, C, D, or F. I'm still not 100% used to it, but I have had to start thinking about the NFL draft and how Stefon Diggs does affect this. But overall, I'll give you guys my take that I gave last night. I like this signing. Did you overpay? Absolutely. Did you probably need to overpay? Yes. You have to overpay to get what you needed. And with the Patriots having money to spend, why would you hold out? We were stingy last year, and that's why we had a 4-win season. Big Juice is in here. Double S, Joseph, Michelle, West Philly Gang, Christopher Domingo, all spamming A's in the comment section down below. A Wolf is going to give it a B+. Kevin D, Christopher Domingo, all in the chat here with us. I appreciate you guys as we are getting more and more people into this stream as we did just kick off. Speaking of people in this stream, Jack Lotteray is here with us wearing his Boston Red Sox hat. Jack, is there any specific reason as to why you're wearing that hat today?
Well, yes, I will tell you in a second, but I did also just want to give my take on the Stefon Diggs signing. I give it an A+++, and I'm going to tell you why. Please. Everyone's going to say, Jack, the money, the money, the money, the money. You have the cap space.
You have the money, yeah.
Spend the money.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter. Spend the money. And I love it. You give Drake May a weapon that he desperately needed. And when Diggs is not injured, which obviously that's a concern coming off of the surgery, but when he's not injured, he's really good.
He's better than Demario Douglas, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Who was going to be our wide receiver one if we didn't get Stefon Diggs.
Yeah, so A++++, because
Absolutely.
You have the money, you spent the money.
Yeah.
I don't see any problem with that.
Well, it's just funny because I, being one of those fans, was yelling at Elliott Wolf for not spending any money in free agency in 2024. We're over here saying you got Gerard Mayo, you gave him nothing. And they did give him nothing to work with. I don't know if that was the plan. Obviously, that's more of an internal discussion in the front office. But then when Elliott Wolf signs everybody under the sun, you're like, oh, we're offering too much money to Stefon Diggs. Did you want to go through another season with Demario Douglas as your wide receiver one? Probably not. Probably not. He's a great receiver, but he's not that guy. You know, he's not Stefon Diggs. But now that Stefon Diggs is a Patriot, this does drastically change the NFL draft for New England. And just ahead of the Diggs news, Russell Wilson became the quarterback for the New York Giants, which I actually think makes a 10 times bigger difference than Diggs to the Patriots is Russell Wilson to the Giants and how this affects the draft. Because now the Giants have pretty much one of two options, right? They can still draft Shedeur Sanders, and you can start to develop that quarterback because you only signed Russell Wilson to a one-year deal. So maybe their plan is to draft Shedeur, who in my opinion should not be a starting NFL quarterback right off the bat. I think his name gives him more hype. I think he's a really, really, really good quarterback, but I have questions and concerns about his next step. Thank God we have Drake May. Or they could draft his teammate, Travis Hunter, pair him with Malik Neighbors, give them 36-year-old Russell Wilson, and call it a day. So who do you want the Patriots to take with pick number 4? Finn saying he should trade Polk. Amanda is in here. Big Juice. Kevin D. Kevin, how many running backs do we have? We have 2 running backs right now. And we're not drafting Ashton Genty. That is the craziest thing I have heard in this stream. For Life Crew saying Tet McMillan. Lewis saying Travis. Channing saying take McMillan. Gaming, I trade the 4th pick unless Travis is on the board. Tony wants Hunter or Carter. Big Juice wants Will Campbell. Michelle, either Hunter or Carter. So we're still seeing the same names, obviously. Carter, more than likely going to be a Cleveland Brown, and Travis Hunter could very well be a New York Giant. But thankfully, the Patriots have made 100 moves, it feels like, in free agency here so far. Harold Landry kicked us off on the Sunday before legal tampering. Landry signed a 3-year, $43.5 million deal, and then right after that, probably like 5 minutes after that, Austin Hooper re-signed with the Patriots. Robert Spillane, Carlton Davis. I mean, we were hitting the big names on defense to kick off free agency. Then we made sure to throw an offensive guy in there, Morgan Moses, which is going to go a very long way to help the Patriots in the draft at securing a left tackle, and I'll talk about that a little bit later on today's show. Milton Williams, the highest paid player in NFL history for the Patriots. It's great. Kyrus Tunga, just a little back up there since we did trade away Devon Godchild. Joshua Dobbs, super weird, but maybe this means a Joe Milton trade. Then we went and signed a Buffalo Bills receiver, Mac Hollins, Kaylavon Chasen, Wes Schweitzer, who right now I feel like could be in the competition with Layden Robinson, Caden Wallace, Cole Strange for that left guard area. And then Marcus Epps, just to give a little bit more depth to Kyle Duggar and Jabril Peppers, who both suffered injuries last year. And then they signed Garrett Bradbury to replace David Andrews, who they released just a few days before they signed the former Minnesota Vikings center. And then, of course, possibly the best deal so far of free agency, I don't know, you guys can tell me, Stefon Diggs, 3-year, $69 million deal at a $26 million guarantee. Yes, this is an overpay, but also, with that $26 million guaranteed, you're pretty much getting a 2-year deal out of him. And if anything goes south and his attitude starts getting in the way, then you can just release him, cut him, or just move on from him. And for the next 3 years, you're going to continuously get a healthier Stefon Diggs. Hopefully, perfect world, he continues to get healthier and healthier from this ACL injury as time goes on. But I know that a lot of you guys have had concerns about Diggs' attitude, Diggs' personality and behavior, because obviously things went south in the Northeast when he played for Buffalo. And I've seen a lot of comments on my TikTok videos and on my YouTube videos about Stefon Diggs is going to ruin Drake May because of his attitude. And I just don't think that's true. I don't. I think I am aware that he is a diva. I'm aware. But there are also a lot of divas in the NFL. All right? And from what Mike Reese said, it sounded like everybody that Reese touched out to that works for the Houston Texans, they all love Diggs. On the field, off the field. So maybe Buffalo just wasn't his right situation. Especially with a guy like Mike Vrabel, I just think Diggs is going to respect Vrabel. I would hope that he would respect anybody, but Vrabel seems like that no-shit type of coach. That just smash-mouth football. I want to make you the best player that you can be, and I think that Stefon Diggs is going to respond to that type of coaching. I don't know him personally, I'm just saying. Are you concerned about Diggs in New England in terms of his attitude and the rumors that have come out about Diggs and how he is in the locker room? Type Y for yes, type N for no. The good news is I'm seeing a lot of N's in the comment section. I'm seeing a lot of people saying, I like Diggs, we want him healthy, Big Juice, Gaming, Double S. Amanda is going to say why. Kevin D is going to say why. So there's obviously going to be a little bit of pushback with a guy like Diggs because he has been in the headlines for things other than his abilities, which is unfortunate, but we're not Buffalo, we're not Houston, we're the Patriots, and there is a certain level of Patriot way that I do think Stefon Diggs is going to adhere to, or at least you really do hope. But here is your chance to tell me about your concerns of Stefon Diggs. If you guys want to get on the show, we are going to have a mailbag today. There's a lot to talk about with Diggs, the offense, the defense, possibly trading away guys, the mock draft coming up. There are so many topics to discuss for the Patriots. So if you guys want to get on the show, go on ahead, ask a question using hashtag Patriots or Super Chat to make sure we will 110% guarantee answer your question. Put them in the comment section. For example, hashtag Patriots. Predict the record for 2025. That is how it goes. That way, Mr. Jack Lauderay can put your question up on screen, but it has to use that exact hashtag in our comment section. Michelle, doing great. Hashtag Patriots. Should the Patriots trade down and get both Campbell and Banks? Great question. We'll touch on that here a little bit later. Of course, we do have multiple segments before we get to that mailbag. First, we're going to talk about the mock draft. How does Stefon Diggs affect the Patriots' number 4 pick overall? Then we're going to talk about the defensive rumors. Because, look, I've loved how many defensive signings the Patriots have had. But at what point do they start shedding former defensive players? A Jalani Tavai, a Jawan Bentley. You can't keep taking these guys in and not push some people out. There's just not enough room on the defense. Then the third segment will be a mailbag. Use hashtag Patriots. Put it in the comment section at any point of this live stream, and Mr. Lotteray will be able to pull it up. But I'll tell you what, we cannot have 153 people watching and 25 likes. That is like Sam Brown is in the office with us today. Like, that's so embarrassing that this is happening in front of Sam Brown. Sam Brown is literally gagging because that's so disgusting. All right, I'm not starting my first segment until we get 50 likes. So I feel like it should be extremely easy to obtain because we have 160 people watching. So if you guys are ready to start the show, hit that like button. If we don't have 50, then clearly you guys aren't ready to start the show. Yeah, we'll just shut down. Mr. Jack and I got things to do, you know. We got to hang out with Sam Brown. God, my allergies are killing me. Killing me. My eyeballs, my throat, my nose. God, it is really that time of year. 4 likes away from starting to talk about the mock draft. How will the Patriots draft with pick number 4 now that wide receiver has been checked off their list of needs? All right. We got 55 likes. I appreciate you guys. See, it wasn't so hard. Let's go ahead and jump into the first segment. Please feel free to keep liking, commenting, hashtag Patriots, and hitting that sub button while Mr. Jack and I are breaking it down for you. Now that Stefon Diggs is a New England Patriot, there's been a weight lifted off a lot of Patriots fans' shoulder. Why? Because there were 2 positions of dire need heading into the 2025 season. Wide receiver 1 and a starting left tackle. Well, you got your wide receiver 1. Should this be your only move in the wide receiver room? Probably not. But now you can start to transition over to that left tackle spot. So how is this going to affect the Patriots with their number 4 pick overall now that they have a veteran wide receiver? We're going to break that down here on Patriots Today by Chat Sports. If you guys are excited about the Stefon Diggs signing, go on ahead, hit that like button for me because, look, this was one of the best moves the Patriots could make with the available free agents at the time, and I'm glad that Diggs is now going to bring his 1,000-yard experience to Drake May, who has a very powerful arm. Just needed a pass catcher to get it to. Hit that like button for me if you guys haven't already. But I will be honest, while the Stefon Diggs signing is extremely exciting, it shook up the draft just a little bit because now, where do the Patriots go with pick number 4? Do we transition over to the offensive line? Do they take another receiver in the first round, possibly a Travis Hunter, Tetaroa McMillan, to pair with Stefon Diggs? Or do we just go to the defense and just completely neglect the offense with pick number 4? But it wasn't just Diggs that was going to change the number 4 pick for the Pats. It was actually the Giants who made the first move. By signing Russell Wilson to the New York Giants, this has now opened up a large selection for the Giants with pick number 3. They can still take Shedeur Sanders as a quarterback and possibly progress and develop him under Russell Wilson, or they can take Travis Hunter, 1 pick ahead of the Patriots, and just try and mess everything up for New England. So my mock draft right now for the New York Giants, the Cleveland Browns, and the Tennessee Titans, I see it going this way. I'm going to be negative Nelly, and I am going to say that Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter are off the board by the time the Patriots get the phone call and their clock has started. You guys have to make the pick. So what happens if Abdul Carter goes to the Browns and Travis Hunter goes to the Giants? Do we panic? Do we just completely fizzle? Do we trade down? There is a possibility that the Giants do still draft Shedeur Sanders. That has not been ruled off the table. But we know right now, if Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter is available at pick number 4, the Patriots will draft either one. But now that wide receiver is no longer a top priority, and let's say that possibly the Giants take Travis Hunter at number 3 because that can be a very real scenario for New England. Now that wide receiver is off the board for the Patriots because they have Stefon Diggs, that means that pick number 4, the 2025 draft, the Patriots need to select an offensive tackle. Carter's gone, Travis Hunter is gone, and we still have a big fat question mark and our offensive line, our quarterback's blind side, the left tackle position. And that is why I will select Armand Membou, round 1 offensive line from Mizzou with pick number 4 for the New England Patriots. That's right, I'm not taking Will Campbell. I am going to take Membou from Missouri for these 3 reasons. Number 1, he has over 30 career starts at right tackle, which means you will have to transition him over to the left side. I know we tried to do that last year with Caden Wallace and Layden Robinson, but I'll tell you what the difference is. They were not ranked the number 11th overall draft prospect by Mel Kiper. That is actually 2 spots higher than Will Campbell. He is the number 1 ranked offensive lineman for Mel Kiper heading into this NFL draft. Did you also check out that middle one? 4.91 40-yard dash. He is 6'4", 332 pounds, and he ran a 4.9 40-yard dash. That just screams raw athleticism at me. That screams agility, lateral movements, quick hands, quick feet. His stride was incredible. And knowing that as a player for Mizzou, and he was on the right side for majority of his college career because Missouri was very stacked on the left side, it showed me how his pass protection and run blocking is excellent. So I'm not taking Will Campbell. I am taking Armand with pick number 4. He screams Patriots. He screams Mike Vrabel. And that is why I think he would be a very good and sneaky selection for the Patriots with pick number 4. Because last year, he had 411 pass block snaps. 0 sacks allowed. I don't care if you're right tackle, left tackle, or you're pouring water from the Gatorade stand. If you allow 0 sacks, I want you protecting my quarterback. 0 quarterback hits allowed. He's playing in the SEC. The SEC does not mess around with football players that transition to the NFL. He is being equipped for the next level, and he has an 87.5 run blocking grade. That is better than Will Campbell's. That is why I think the Patriots should take Armand with pick number 4. But I will ask you guys, do you want the Patriots to select any offensive tackle with pick number 4? All you guys have to do is like this video for me. Keep in mind, we've got Diggs now. If Carter and Hunter are gone, I say we don't trade down. I say we miss out on Tetairoa McMillan, and I say we get an offensive tackle with pick number 4. Like this video if you guys agree with me. Because when you look statistically at how Armand and Will do compare in terms of their height, weight, and arm, hand, and 40-yard dash, these are things that actually really do matter with an offensive tackle. So Will Campbell's going to be a little bit taller than Armand, but Armand makes up for it in his width, in his weight. He's going to be a sturdier wall on that offensive line. His arm length, now this is before Will Campbell's LSU Pro Day, which apparently, I guess they use different rulers because Will Campbell's arm length clocked in at 33 inches, but Armand already had that, 33.5. His hand size is bigger. His 40-yard dash is better. And I know these are comparisons that look about a decimal point off here and there. So overall, you can't go wrong with Campbell, and you can't go wrong with Membou. And I do understand that. I'm not saying one is drastically better than the other. But to me, it seems like with Armand, who dominated his combine and showed out in every single category, is making me feel like he is almost a little bit less of a risk than Will Campbell heading in to the next stage of his career, and that is the NFL. I will tell you, though, Will Campbell and Kelvin Banks Jr., they have the hype around their names, absolutely. Armand is the type of player that is going to have to gain the traction heading into the draft, And his skills do not go unnoticed. I have seen them. I've watched this film. This dude's a dog. And before I give you guys my final conclusion here, I do want to tell you real quick about this great deal that we've got for you. I handpicked it for you guys because I never buy anything full price, so I'm not going to let you buy anything full price. Chatsports.com/Patriots combo is going to get you not one but 2 t-shirts for $35 total. This is $25 off. You get it in red, get it in blue. You guys can wear it to Fenway as baseball season's coming up. Basketball season's still going on. You are more than welcome to wear Patriots gear in TD Garden. And most importantly, rock this in Gillette Stadium later this year. Chatsports.com/Patriots combo. I'm going to put this link in the comment section under this video. Click it. It'll take you right there. Now, I did see this graphic while the NFL Combine was going on. Armand Membou is one of 4 offensive linemen to jump better than 30-inch verticals, run under a 5-second 40-yard dash at 315 pounds or heavier. I don't care about his hype. If he is in the same rankings as Trent Williams, the best offensive lineman in the NFL right now, I will gladly draft him at number 4. Tony Pauline also saying from Sportskeeda, the Patriots have shown an incredible amount of interest in Membou since the Combine. And he's definitely a Mike Vrabel type of blocker. Vrabel has a very distinct type of player that he's looking for, and I do agree that Campbell is going to fit that mold as well. So will Armand. And that is why I am saying there are going to always be players in the NFL draft that have hype around their name. Then there are guys that have to gain attention as the Combine goes on, the Pro Day, and as those interviews start to pile up close to the NFL draft. Armand is that guy that is gaining traction right now. And if the Patriots take him at number 4, they absolutely took the best offensive lineman in the NFL draft. But I'll let you guys say that. Armand Membou or Will Campbell, let me know in the comment section down below. Type AM or type WC for Will Campbell in the comment section. As always, if you guys haven't already, go on ahead and hit that sub button for me on Patriots Today by Chat Sports. God, I hope I said his name right. Sam, did I say his name right? Armand Membou. I said it. I said Armand Membou the whole video. I was. You'll have that. We shouldn't draft your running back until after round 4. Either one, as long as we get a tackle from Big Juice. All right, getting a couple of AMs in the chat. Tony Gallagher saying Will Campbell. I'm getting confident that we will end up with Campbell over Membou. Membou? Yeah, I am saying both. It's Membou. I know I am. It's Armand Membou. Yeah, Nesfor saying Stevenson's still good. Think about how terrible his blocking was. Yeah, I think Stevenson was also going through some mental humps last season. I know that he had a tragedy in the middle of last year that shook him. There was a report on that. So I think there was a lot going on with Ramondre Stevenson in 2024. And let's be honest, he definitely wasn't what kept us from the playoffs. But I do agree that with now having Diggs and having Drake May, you have to have a run game, or else your passing game isn't going to be successful. So I do hope that Ramondre Stevenson has a more productive season, but I also really liked Antonio Gibson. I don't want him to be running back 1. I think he's a very viable running back 2. But if Stevenson just got that extension, it's either you produce in the first half of the season, or I can see your ass in the chopping block for 100%. 200 people watching, 10 likes away from 100. If you guys want to get on the show, go on ahead, use hashtag Patriots. That way, you guys can get your questions on the show. Kevin's saying, what about Banks? I think Banks is number 3 out of Campbell, Membou, and than Banks. He's not as athletic. He has similar skill sets, but in terms of raw athleticism, I wouldn't put Kelvin Banks in that same category. I actually don't see Kelvin Banks going like top 15. If he... What? In the 20s? Yeah, I think he's a later first-round kind of guy. I don't see him falling to round 2 just because everybody always needs a good tackle, but I don't... We'd have to trade down for him, and I'd really rather not trade down. I know that's an option, but I just think there's still a lot of good talent at pick number 4. There is, and I just don't see the need of trading down when you have so many areas on your team that need to be filled. That just doesn't make sense to me. What? Same. All right, let's go on ahead and hop into segment number 2. Let's talk about the defense a little bit because I've loved how aggressive Rabel and Elliott Wolf have been about signing every linebacker under the sun. But at what point do they have to start weaving some guys out? Because there's not 8 linebackers starting on a football field. You got to start figuring out who's going to be in the depth chart, who's going to get traded, and who's going to get cut. So let's talk about that here on segment number 2. We are 2 likes away from 100. When we hit 100, we should be good to go. But be sure, while we're talking, use hashtag Patriots. Get your questions in the comment section. Subscribe and hit that like button for me if you guys haven't already. 200 people watching, 1 like away. Yeah, take your time, guys. No need, no rush. Okay, there it is. All right, Mr. Jack, are you ready to go? All right, let's go. The Patriots have made several additions to the defensive side of the ball, which I am extremely grateful for. But at what point are the Patriots going to start weaving out players that were there last year or possibly years before that, whether trade, waiving, cutting, or just moving on from those guys? So more and more guys are coming in, but who's going out? We're going to break that down here on today's show. I am your host, Allie Barefoot, and I'll go on ahead and ask you guys right off the bat, which linebacker should the Patriots move on from? Linebacker specifically, because we have added several names to our forefront, and I do want to make sure the Patriots realize you can't keep every single one of them as we head into training camp later this season. So Jeremy Fowler came out with the latest update here on the compensation on March 25th, saying linebacker Christian Ellis, who the Raiders offered a deal for, and the Patriots could match it. It was an offer sheet. The Patriots did match Christian Ellis, and they even tagged on another year. Well, now the details finally came out about that deal, saying he is going to be signed for 2 years, $13.5 million. This was the Raiders' offer sheet that the New England matched. Ellis was due $3.26 million on a restricted tender and now gets substantial raise annually. But here's the kicker. There is a report out there that the Raiders are not entirely done with Christian Ellis, although the Patriots did match their offer sheet. But the only way the Raiders can now obtain Ellis is by a trade. Could they trade for Christian Ellis, and what would that mean for our linebacker room? Well, here's another tweet that came out saying, I wouldn't rule out a match and trade situation where he still ends up with the Raiders. We'll see how it goes, but that is a possibility. But then I started thinking, to get a guy like Ellis for the Raiders, it's not going to cost too much. And actually, they're now going to be, in my opinion, overpaying for a guy like Christian Ellis. Although he has a lot of upside, and we did see some of that last season, his ceiling is very high, but it seems like a lot of money to pay for a high ceiling. So I think for the Raiders, you can probably give a 6th or 7th round pick for a guy like Christian Ellis. I don't think it's going to be this blockbuster type of trade to get him. But knowing how high the Patriots are on Christian, I would rather the Patriots keep him and develop him moving forward, especially since you already have a headhunter in Robert Spillane and you've got Harold Landry. I think that Christian Ellis could absolutely develop his skill sets tremendously in this upcoming year with Terrell Williams and a defensive-minded coach in Mike Vrabel, because last year he stepped up when Jawan Bentley got hurt. And I was thoroughly pleased with his production. 80 tackles, 42 of them solo, 1 forced fumble, and we all remember that nasty interception where he worked with the secondary to completely pick somebody off and take it back the other way. But now that we have regained Christian Ellis, signed him for 2 extra years than we originally had in this restricted free agency, and they keep signing more and more free agents that are linebackers specifically, at some point, they're going to have to start slimming down this roster. And I do have a feeling we're going to say goodbye to some players that were with us from last season. So here is our linebacker depth chart right now, assuming the Patriots still run a 3-4 front. Now that we have 2 edge rushers, that could be a little bit of a change, possibly a 4-3 front moving forward. Anthony Jennings, Jalani Tavai, Robert Spillane, Harold Landry. You still have Kayvon Chasen. You still have Jack Gibbons, who you signed. You have Monty Rice, and you still have Juwan Bentley, who was a captain last year, but got injured after week 2. At some point, somebody's got to give. You have too many cooks in the kitchen, and I do think there are 2 possible trades or waivings that could happen in the next upcoming weeks that could slim down the Patriots linebacker room. But I'll ask you guys this real quick for Christian Ellis. Would you rather keep or trade Ellis? This is move number 1 the Patriots could do to start slimming down their defense. Type T for trade, type K for keep. The latest report is the Patriots are very, very high on Ellis. Obviously, they just took him back from the Raiders after taking their lead tackler in 2024. I mean, they're dissecting the Raiders' defense. Let me know in the comment section down below. If they don't move on from Christian Ellis and they decide to keep him, they got to move on from another player, possibly even more. And like I said, I have 2 guys that I think the Patriots are going to move on from. And I'll tell you in just 1 second. But first, let me tell you guys about our sponsor on Patriots Today. That is Prize Picks. If you guys are looking to test out your skills on a daily fantasy sports app, then Prize Picks is the app for you. It's the best way to get action on sports in more than 30 different states, including Cali, Texas, and Georgia. And it's probably the easiest part of my day. All you guys have to do is just pick more or less on a few player stats for your shot to win up to 1,000 times your money. That's right, up to 1,000 times your money. Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Join over 10 million users and sign up today. On Prize Picks, you can mix and match player projections from different sports. Combine your favorite basketball players with players from baseball, hockey, esports, and much more. I know it's hoop season right now, but baseball season is right around the corner, and I will take season-long projections for Paul Skeens to have more than 215.5 pitcher strikeouts, but I'm going to take the Bronx Bombers' Aaron Judge to have less than 49.5 home runs. These are season-long projections, but you guys can also make your Prize Picks for single-game entries. If you guys want to go on ahead and test out your skills, download the Prize Picks app. Use promo code CLNS. That'll give you guys $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Download the Prize Picks app. Use promo code CLNS. That'll give you guys $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. So we talked about Christian Ellis and why the Patriots should keep him or trade him. But Juwan Bentley and Jalani Tavai are names that we could say goodbye to heading into this season. Let's start with Juwan Bentley primarily, because I did tell you guys a couple of videos ago that it looks like Bentley's been doing a lot of work in the offseason. In fact, we know that Mike Vrabel is changing his defensive schemes, and that change has asked Juwan Bentley to lose some weight, to get a little bit more lean, a little bit more cut, and he is down to around 230 pounds. So if they're investing in Juwan Bentley to slim down from 250 to 230, I have a hunch that they're probably expecting to play Bentley in this defensive scheme. They were not planning on playing Devon Godchaux in this scheme, and now he's in New Orleans. I would actually want Bentley to stay. I don't want to trade him just yet. He was very productive for us in 2023, and he got injured in 2024. He was also a captain. This is going to matter to the Patriots players that were there last year and for what he can do with this whole new system in play. 114 tackles in 2023, 55 solo, 4.5 sacks, which actually tied the season high for 2024 between Keon White and Dietrich Schweiz Jr., and he had 1 forced fumble. This is what he could possibly give you. And he's played for the Patriots his entire career. I don't think it's time to let him go just because you got a new head coach and you brought a couple of players in. But there could be a couple of teams that may be interested in offering a little bit more than the Patriots were expecting Ja'Whaun Bentley to go for in the trade market. Los Angeles Chargers could benefit from this linebacker. We've got the Washington Commanders, who we know that Tuvu is probably not going to be there next year after he just completely launched into the end zone during the NFC East Championship. And the Carolina Panthers, they're obviously in a rebuild as well. So my question for you guys is, would you trade Ja'Whaun Bentley? I'm going to go with N for no. I think there is a lot of upside to keeping the captain Bentley and seeing what he can do coming back from this injury. It's a little bit of a gamble, but hey, I'm ready for it. Type Y for yes, type in for no. Let me know in the comment section down below. But what about Jalani Tavai? That is another possible candidate that could be on the trade block as they start to slim down their depth chart. And I would trade Tavai. I think that he was a bright spot on the defense last year in most areas because we really struggled at freaking tackling. We were a horrible tackling team, which is ironic because that's the whole point of football. But I know that Tavai hasn't really left a good taste in a lot of fans' mouths because of what he said at the end of the season about the booing and just fans not appreciating the Patriots. And it was a tough look, I'll be honest. And I could see Mike Vrabel not wanting that on his team. And I don't know Tavai personally. Maybe that was just a bad day. Maybe he just got caught up in how crappy the Patriots really were. But Tavai also is now going to have to compete for his job. And I would easily take Robert Spillane over Jalani Tavai. And that is why I think if you do keep him, he's going to be a pretty expensive depth piece. I'd rather trade him and trade it up for assets moving forward in the future than possibly have him sitting the bench behind a guy like Robert Spillane, who I am very excited to see this upcoming year. So let me know who you guys would start. At inside linebacker, Robert Spillane type RS or Jalani Tavai type JT. Let me know in the comment section down below because I personally think Ja'Whaun Bentley, Robert Spillane, Harold Landry, Anthony Jennings. That sounds like a pretty damn good linebacker room to me. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section. As always, be sure to hit that sub button for me if the Patriots do move on from any players or add any new ones. We'll talk about it right here on Patriots Today by Chat Sports. We got a $5 super chat coming in from Slippy. Appreciate you, Slippy. All right. We will do the mailbag here in just a moment, so be sure to get your questions in using hashtag Patriots. Mr. Jack, I see that your box is popping up. Do you have something to add?
Yeah. Get your questions in. First and foremost. Oh my God, I'm not blurring. Okay. I did want to plug real quick, and I'll plug before we get out of here as well.
Plug it.
Opening day's tomorrow. So exciting. And it's here.
So exciting.
It's here in Dallas. The Red Sox
are
here in Dallas.
Yes.
I'm going to be there, folks, covering opening day for our Chat Sports channel, the Red Sox Rundown. I'm actually going to be there the first 3 games of the season. So Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And I'm putting in the chat right now, go subscribe to our Red Sox channel. I'm going to put out a season preview tonight, talking about who I think is going to be the MVP, the Cy Young, the breakout, the regression, all of that. Go through their entire roster because their roster unofficially was locked today. And then tomorrow I'm going to be posting highlights, shorts, recaps after the games. So I know we're all Patriots fans, and I know some of you are Red Sox fans. So consider hitting that sub button. And Big Juice said, will you be at Fenway? I will actually be at Fenway at some point this summer. I am going to Fenway. I'm going to Boston at some point this summer. So make sure you subscribe. This is our newest smallest channel at Chat Sports. I'm trying to grow it, so be part of it. It's a lot of fun. So yeah,
Fenway's the best park.
That's my spiel.
The best park in the MLB. No, seriously, nobody knows Red Sox better than Jackie Baseball. Really, nobody really knows baseball more than Jackie Baseball. So be sure to hit that sub button on our new channel, our first MLB channel as well. Jack is breaking barriers here at Chat Sports, who is primarily a football company. So this is huge. This is huge. All right, be sure to follow Jack if you guys want inside coverage on the Red Sox opening day. There are few things in this world I love, and opening day is one of them. Just feels good. It should be a national holiday. However, am I stupid? Has it always been in March? I could have sworn it was always like first weekend in April. Right. God. I know. I've just always associated it with like July 4th, I've always associated it with the first week of April, which is really crazy. But it is like right around there. All right. Do we have enough questions or are we lacking? My bubble breeds. I did more bubbles today, actually. Well, I never normally do this many bubbles. Yeah. You got enough? All right. So we are going to start our mailbag. But as we keep going and you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, I finally just thought of a question. Keep sending it in. #Patriots. Jack can pull it up while we are talking about this. But let's go on ahead and jump into our final segment on today's show. And this is where I do answer your questions. All right, Jackie Baseball. Are we ready to go? Let's go. There are a lot of changes coming to New England, and I want to make sure that you guys have your questions heard and answered. So we're going to break that down here on Patriots Today by Chat Sports on this week's mailbag after Stefon Diggs became a Patriot and still ahead of the NFL draft. I'm talking about the Patriots and the Boston Celtics all year long on X and on TikTok, where I do post clips of our lengthy shows and smaller doses. If you guys want to go check them out there, feel free to follow me on social media. All right, let's get to it. Lewis Joshua, #Patriots. Do we draft a kicker or trade for one since Joey Sly went to the Titans? Oh, God, trade for a kicker. I mean, you could possibly trade for a kicker. I don't have any off the top of my mind where I'm like, yes, go out and get him right now. I do think that drafting one can definitely be an eligible option, but the only thing I will not do is trade up to draft a guy like Chad Ryland only to cut him a year later. I kind of knew Joey Sly wasn't going to be a Patriot forever. He had a very crappy season in New England. Actually, he had one of his worst seasons since his rookie year. So we understand that Joey Sly is now going to be with the Tennessee Titans. So I'm probably going to say draft a kicker because we do also have 3 7th-round picks that they could possibly swim through the special teams at that point in the draft. If you want to possibly trade one, I would only give up one of those 7th-round picks. Finn Dixon coming in. What should we do with Marte Mapu? I think a trade, but only if Duggar and Jabril are fit. So Duggar had ankle surgery after the season was over. As personnel told him it was just a bone bruise, it turns out it wasn't. And Jabril Peppers was dealing with legal actions last year that did get dropped, so we should have Peppers back this year. We also signed Marcus Epps. I really like Marte Mapu. I think there is a ceiling that he has not touched just yet. I say we keep him on the depth chart, and I do think he can fill in behind Duggar and Peppers, and we also still have Jalen Hawkins, who stepped up a lot when Peppers and Duggar were both out towards the end of the season. So I say we keep Marte Mapu. If we're going to trade any defensive players, I would slim down the linebacker room before I touch the secondary. Ness Force, will the Patriots make the playoffs this year? I'm predicting we will win a wild card. I'm going to be very realistic, but I also will talk about what I think the Patriots are capable of. I do think they are capable of winning a wild card game, and I would love that. If they don't, I'm not getting my expectations too high. But for a guy like Mike Vrabel and all the additions that they're making to this offense and defense, I'm going to go with a 7-10 record for the Patriots this upcoming season. I do think we can get to 7 wins. I think Mike Vrabel is going to completely transform this team. To win a wild card playoff game, a lot of things are going to have to go right for us this regular season for that to happen. But I would say it is a possibility, and I do hope this does come true. Next question coming in here from Icy. Do you think Lockett? Do I think we should pick up Tyler Lockett? I originally had said yes, and that was before we had Stefon Diggs, and I do not mind picking up Tyler Lockett. I see no bad moves for the Patriots in free agency to keep adding to their wide receiver room, unless it's Deontay Johnson. That is horrible. But Tyler Lockett would be another good veteran. He'd be a viable wide receiver, too, because we saw him be that for DK Metcalf in the Seahawks. So I think he could pair very well with a guy like Stefon Diggs. I don't mind picking up Lockett for a very reasonable deal. I wouldn't overpay for him the way you did for Diggs, but I understand you had to make that move. But for a guy like Lockett, I don't mind it. But keep in mind, you also already signed Matt Collins. You do still have Bourne, Booty, and Douglas. And you have Jalen Polk, Javon Baker, and the NFL draft. I just don't think you need Lockett with the depth chart that is now starting to come to fruition. Nick is in here as well. Thoughts on Polk and Javon Baker are having a breakout year with this new coaching structure. Breakout year might be a stretch. I think they're going to do better this year because they're going to have a veteran in the wide receiver room. Even Jalen Polk already posted on his Instagram story. He's very excited about Stefon Diggs coming to the core. And I think that's going to help nurture these guys and grow them as players since they really struggled with their first year. And there was nothing ever fully disclosed with Jerod Mayo and Javon Baker, but I don't think that was a good relationship. Jerod Mayo did not utilize Javon Baker at all, to the point where he was a healthy scratch more often than not. And the latest report shows that Javon Baker and Mike Vrabel do have a good relationship. They're very interested in what Javon Baker will be able to do. So I think that regardless, it's going to be a better year for Polk and JB. But a breakout season, I don't know if it's going to be all that. But I am very intrigued to see how this new offense will work out for the two guys that struggled last year. So let me ask you guys this. Which position should the Patriots draft first? Type D for defense, type O for offense. Let me know in the comment section down below. And yes, your answer should be O for offense. Dash is coming in here. Patriots, are Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter still on the table? Absolutely. But we're also about a month away from the draft. You ask on April 24th, I'm going to say probably not. I truly do think that this draft is going to come down to the wire. I do not think the Patriots will know who they're going to take at pick number 4 until they're on the clock. And that's very exciting, but it's also a little bit nerve-wracking. If Abdul or Travis are available, they are going to be a Patriot. If the Browns take Carter and the Giants take Hunter, then I think the Patriots have a couple of options they can do. And thankfully, I'm not going to be in the draft room, and I don't have to make those decisions. But yes, they are absolutely still on the table. Another question coming in from Icy. If we get Lockett, what happens at 4? They said they are not going to stop because of Diggs, but do you think they would be bracing no Hunter if getting him happens? If Travis Hunter is available at pick number 4, the Patriots will not let him get to pick number 5. I can almost 99.9% guarantee that, and I've never talked to anybody on the front office of the Patriots. But there are more wide receivers in the draft than just Teteroa McMillan and Travis Hunter. You can go and spend round 2, 3, 4, and 5 picking up receivers if you really want to. But if they get Lockett, I don't think that means they're not going to take any other wide receivers ever again. I don't think you need Tyler Lockett. What I do think you need at pick number 4 is an offensive tackle because you really haven't made a lot of great moves on the offensive line just yet on the left side because you swung and missed on a couple of players at the start of free agency. Lockett does not change them getting Travis Hunter. He can also play both ways, which is something that hasn't been disclosed on whether or not he'll play one side or both in the NFL. But overall, you do still need to address your offensive line. And you guys do still need to dress in Patriots clothing. Use chatsports.com/Patriots combo. That is going to get you guys this fantastic deal. 2 shirts for $35. 2 shirts for one price. And it's $25 off. That way you're getting it on sale. You're getting 2 for $35, which is huge. And be sure to grab these while sizes do last. Weather is starting to get a lot nicer outside, and I want you guys to be able to wear this everywhere and anywhere around New England. So be sure to go on ahead and get your shirts in right now. Use this link. It'll get you free shipping too. $35, free shipping, chatsports.com/Patriots combo. I will put this in the comment section under this video. Click the link. It'll take you right there. TDP, why haven't we picked up Cam Robinson? He's gone. Cam Robinson signed already with the Houston Texans. That is why we have not picked up Cam Robinson. We were interested, and we offered him, but Cam Robinson wanted to go be a tackle for the Texans. I don't blame him. I think the Texans have a lot more to offer right now than the Patriots do. The Patriots are getting better, but, the Texans also were a winning program last year. So Cam Robinson's off the table. That's why the Patriots need to pick an offensive tackle in the first round of the NFL draft. Michelle coming in. Should the Patriots trade down and get both Campbell and Banks? I don't think that's going to work. It sounds great. It does sound great, but that is a lot of moving parts that I just don't think are going to add up. The Patriots could possibly sign another offensive lineman in free agency and then draft a guy like Campbell or Banks. I'd rather draft Campbell over Kelvin Banks, but I just unfortunately don't think this is going to work out in the NFL draft. But it'd be great if it did. It's just not, unfortunately, how the system works. Drake May, appreciate our starting quarterback coming into our live show here. Do the Patriots do a sign and trade Joshua Dobbs or still trade Milton? I'm going to say no on the sign and trade for Josh Dobbs. Doesn't seem like a move that Elliott Wolf probably would make. I have heard conflicting reports that they want to trade Milton for a third-round draft pick, but they also don't want to trade Milton because they do believe he could be a viable option down the road for a backup. But overall, I would rather trade Milton than trade Josh Dobbs. I know that Milton has probably more stock than Dobbs does right now, too, even though one has been in the NFL a lot longer. But I do think that Milton, whatever trade does fester, is going to be very, very interesting to see what we get in return. Kevin coming in here. Do you think we're drafting a running back since we only have 2? Well, you really only need 3 on your roster. You can have 4, but you probably would just have a practice squad guy at that point. Last year was JaMychal Hasty, and we really never even saw him. I don't think if we draft a running back, it could maybe be round 5 through 7. We've got 3 7th-round picks. We don't have anybody in the 6th. We don't have a 6th pick. A 6th-round pick this year, but you can definitely draft a running back. I wouldn't do it in the first 3 rounds. I think we have other areas of need that we should probably address before we pick up a 3rd running back. But Stevenson and Gibson, I'm expecting a better year from Stevenson. I'm sure he is as well. And I thought Gibson was a very viable option as a backup running back last year. So you'd just be getting a 3rd-string running back, which I just don't think is very high on their list right now of priorities. Vicious Tuna. Hi, Allie. Hi. So I still prefer trading for Olave or Myers, but does the Diggs signing maybe open the door to get Ayuk? I think all of these doors are open. I really do. I think that you could still possibly swing a trade for Jacoby Myers and for Chris Olave, knowing the Saints do still need a quarterback, and I don't want to watch Derek Carr, so I'm sure Saints fans don't either. And you could still possibly sign Brandon Ayuk. The only thing is, I don't want Brandon Ayuk to think that he may get the same deal that Stefon Diggs did. I think that's a very different situation. And, Ayuk would be a trade. Yeah, but, I don't want him to get paid, that kind of money. So, I do think that I'd rather trade for a guy like Jacoby Myers. If we already have a veteran, I would probably want to bring a younger guy in than another veteran like Brandon Ayuk. And I do like Olave, but I don't really love his concussions. But, I'll be open to either of them, honestly. Lewis coming in with another question. Who is your favorite free agency signing? I've got 2, Spillane and Williams. Ooh, I love Williams. I love Spillane. I love Landry. Love Stefon Diggs. I think there's a lot of great signings here for the Patriots, and I'm hoping that they do still have a couple more in the back of their their mind there. But I will go with, I'm actually going to go with Stefon Diggs. I did not think we were going to get a well-known wide receiver of that caliber to the Patriots this year. I really didn't. So shout out to Diggs for making my dreams come true. If you guys are ready for 2025 season, go on ahead and hit that like button for me if you guys haven't already. Help us grow this channel. Hit that like button. And as always, be sure to hit that sub button for me as well. All right. 230 people watching. 135 people have liked it. Be sure to hit that sub button for me if you guys haven't already either. We go live every single Wednesday at 5 p.m., so I don't want you guys to miss it. All right. Jack, do you have anything else? Beautiful. All right, keep in mind, while the football season is a couple months away, baseball starts tomorrow.
It's the best day of the year.
Jackie Baseball in Arlington going to the Red Sox season opener. He will give you guys coverage of it. He will give you guys behind the scenes. Baseball season is here, baby. And Jack's got the latest.
It's Christmas Eve. I'm like a little kid, and under the tree is 162 Red Sox games. I am so excited. So make sure you hit that sub button. Hit that sub button.
Buddy. Big Juice that I've been sub since day one.
Let's go, Big Juice. Let's go, Big Juice. I appreciate it. We are so close to 1,200 subs. So... yeah, gonna have a video tonight. Gonna have a bunch of short form content tomorrow, as well as a video from the stadium after the game. And then we're gonna do the same thing on Friday and the same thing on Saturday. I'll be at the first 3 games of the season. And then at some point in the summer, end of May, like last week of May, first week of June, I'm gonna be at Fenway for a few games.
Yeah, buddy.
And then we're gonna do recaps after every single game. All 162. So don't miss out. Hit that sub button. I appreciate you all.
Alrighty, we are going to go on ahead and wrap this live show up. I do appreciate you guys for tuning in here with me every single week. We will be live next Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. So be sure to hit that sub button for me. If anything does happen from now until next Wednesday, I make breaking news videos at home at the Chat Sports office. I post videos every single day, so be sure to hit that sub button on Patriots Today by Chat Sports.